All right. We are live.
We are indeed, Josh. Good stuff, man.
And give a few minutes for all to join as we share our frustrations with the industry.
Yep. Industry, am I right?
It's tough. It's tough.
Working for a living, am I right?
Yeah. Working for a living sucks.
We can't all just play basketball, can we?
No, we can't. But we have to. We have to. We have to. So we're gonna give a few more minutes here, see who jumps in, who wants to share, who wants to join, who wants to chat. Feel free to put some chats and we'll answer some questions, we'll interact. But this is about our frustration, my frustration. Because Duke Flunky over here, he's a spring chicken, so he don't know no better. He's in the baby stages of his career.
I'm in the honeymoon stage.
He's in the honeymoon stage of the. That's a good one. That's a good one. We're gonna use that. We're gonna use that one. The honeymoon stage of his career. I like that.
It's great.
That was a good one.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely use that.
Great.
So, you know,
We'll add that to the words of wisdom.
he's in the honeymoon stage. Can everybody hear me? Is the audio good? I guess you can start with that chat.
Yeah, now is the time to hear that because if we're just here talking to ourselves, it's not very funny.
Yeah,
And it's not funny if you guys are saying
yeah. So if anybody can hear, just say hello or something. Yeah, we hear you. Working. You won't bite.
I won't. I don't know about
I
you.
don't know if you get me worked up enough. I might lash out
Last shot at what? Your wrenches?
at anything.
I've seen you toss
At
some
anything.
kids in.
At anything.
Really like that Malibu? Absolutely.
You had to bring up the Malibu. You had to bring up the Malibu. Why did you bring up the Malibu?
Because that thing was horrible.
That was a 2 week ordeal. Two 2 week ordeal.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Crazy.
2 weeks. Yeah, because it wasn't you dealing with it.
Nope. It was all you. I just sat there and laughed at you.
It was a 2 week ordeal, and
2 weeks.
no big deal.
Hold on. Hold on.
No big deal.
Hold on.
Where are you going?
Hold on.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing.
Look. It was 2 weeks of you going.
How dare you insult me like that, bro? Seriously, guy? Are we serious right now?
That's what you did for 2 weeks. Unplug this connector, 1 pin, 2 pin, 3 pin, 3 plug-in connector.
I'm gonna see when it happens to you. I'm gonna see when it happens to you. He's in the honeymoon. He's in the honeymoon stage of his career. I'm gonna see when it happens to you. I'm gonna see. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Echa pa allá, yeah. Stop. Yeah, laugh it up. All right, laugh it up. Mm.
How many pins was in that X1 connector?
Laugh it up because when it happens to you, I'm gonna be laughing at you.
Oh.
I'm gonna be laughing at you.
How many pins?
You're gonna call me on the phone. I can't figure this out. Oh, whoa. I'm gonna go. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
How many pins?
Rómpete la cabeza. That's all I'm gonna say.
How many pins was in that connector?
Anyway, whatever. So we're talking about the frustrations And that's one of them, actually. Frustrations. Can everybody hear? Mic check 1 2, please. Just say yeah, we hear. That's it, just to make sure.
It doesn't expend that much energy to type something on a keyboard.
And this industry is getting complicated. It really is. And we're gonna get into what he was talking about, the Malibu here shortly. At some point. We're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna see how this goes. We really are. But I want to welcome everybody. Welcome to the live stream. We just decided to get in live and just chat with you guys and share some of the frustrations. Things are moving rapidly in the automotive industry, and some things it's just frustrating. It really is. But I want to see what you guys think. What you guys want to. If you got any questions, please feel free to. Whatever it is, I don't care. Just drop it in the chat.
I have a question for you.
What?
Wasn't it frustrating counting pins for 2 weeks?
Dude, come on. Come on, dude. You know, we're gonna talk about that here soon. Anyways, I don't know. I don't even know where to start this. It's just vehicles are becoming difficult to troubleshoot, and that's what he's, you know, getting me worked up about.
Yep.
Vehicles are becoming very difficult to work with. Every day things change, procedures change, and it seems like the automotive industry is trying to push the generic automotive technician out of existence.
Everything is specialized now.
Everything is almost specialized. Yeah, even it's
Just
like
look at high voltage stuff. That's a specialty now.
yeah, high voltage stuff
That didn't exist 20 years ago.
No, it didn't. It didn't. That's something. Well, I'll take that back.
Come on, the Prius. That's it.
The Prius was around in late '90s. That's been around since late '90s.
But let's be real. 30 years ago, high voltage. Oh, what's that? The only high voltage was in your house.
Yeah, but automotive now is moving towards that. So it's how do I say this? All the tools you need, the softwares, the everything you need is getting more and more. It's like, come on, man, throw me a bone here,
You can spend $4,000 on a scan tool
to program a keys emission.
I mean, just look at what was that PCM that you had to put the VIN.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go to the Malibu.
No boy.
Let's go. To 2021 Malibu.
His favorite car of all time.
Was here for 2 weeks. I was dealing with this thing for 2 weeks.
How many pins did that connector have?
And it came in initially for a catastrophic engine failure. Limping here, it barely made it on its own power, but it
That
got
was
here.
what, May 3rd?
It ended up being a camshaft literally split not quite in half, but in a quarter. A quarter. This car was working on a quarter of an intake camshaft.
I think it was misfiring horribly.
Yeah, it was misfiring.
It was misfiring.
I haven't seen that. If you guys have seen that, drop it in the comments. Let me know you've seen 2021 Chevy Malibu with 1/4 of the intake inoperative.
I had to ask Solis the other day. I'm like, yo, have you ever seen this happen? He's like, see what happened? Cam literally split in half. He's like, yeah, once 30 years ago when cams were cast iron.
This was mind-boggling. But anyways, it happened. I don't do that. I'm not gonna change a transmission here, an engine. I'm not gonna change an engine here. We're not.
Couldn't you have just like done a head job on it and called it a day?
The head alone was like $2,000. The head alone was $2,000
How much
from
was the
GM.
whole engine?
The engine was over a little over $1,000.
The whole engine from
The
GM.
the whole engine, no, not from GM, but from salvage yard.
Oh,
So I told him it was gonna be cheaper. But anyways, going to the point here, the car was done by some
outside.
friend or another shop or mechanic or whatever, and it came back with the most hilarious, horrible electrical problem. You would turn on the car, you would go to turn it off, and you couldn't turn off the engine. The dash would come off, everything, no engine. Engine stays running. You had to pull fuses and stuff. So, anyways, that was a week of check here, check there, wiring. I thought it was a pinched wire or a broken wire or something electrical. It happened after the engine was installed. There's in the CAN bus, there's five, six modules, seven, six, seven.
I think it's what this
There was like five, six modules
the
in
main,
there.
but the main ones that were giving issues was the BCM, the TCM, and the EC.
BCM, TCM, ECU, the central gateway, um, bunch of gibberish there. But anyways, it it became a thing. It really became a thing real quick. But anyways, I cleaned it up. Whatever. The connectors to the ECM, I cleaned it up. I saw some oily residue that kind of helped the crank and doesn't want to shut off engine ordeal. But I get a plethora of communication codes, and I can't get. I'm looking at the wiring diagram. I was like, well, there's got to be a broken wire or something. I find some information. I check the terminating resistors are correct. It seems like it's not a break in the wiring. It's something crazy. I thought it was a bad module or something. So I changed the module, the ECM module, which I thought maybe this was the case here, after doing many checks, that's why he's, making fun of me checking the pins and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh,
Ah,
oopsies.
so I was asked, what's the frustrations? You just started watching.
Hold on. Phil H. What's the frustrations about just started watching? Well, Phil, thank you for joining, first of all.
Caught us right on time.
Thank you for watching. He was just messing around with me because I just dealt with a 2-week ordeal with a vehicle,
21 Malibu.
21 Malibu,
Counting pins for 2 weeks.
and the car initially came in with a break in the camshaft. For those of you that are just joining us, camshaft, a quarter of the camshaft, the intake camshaft was broken, snapped off completely. So they put an engine in there, and now the engine starts. You go to turn off the car, and the engine continues to run. You can't turn it off. It just stays running. So that's what I ended up with. And it was a different situation because, well, where do you start? So started checking here, there, and like I said, I found some oily residue on one of the engine computers connectors. Cleaned that up. That seemed to have helped. But now I get a bunch of list of non-communication codes with the TCM. The TCM and the ECM were not communicating with BCM, the telematics. It's just, ah, ah, it was just,
That's funny. I like that. That's your first problem. Yeah.
I've dealt with Malibu, but this was a bad one.
There was a point in time that we were considering gasoline and fire as a
I wanted to burn that stupid car. I really did. 2 weeks of this. But anyways,
2 weeks of counting pins.
I decided I think it's got to be a bad module. This ECM must be bad because they've been disconnecting it, reconnecting it. That's how they were getting the car to shut off. So I said they must have fried something in it.
Not to mention that the guy when he changed The engine, he put a new fuse block in.
Yeah, he put a new fuse block in there. I said, well, he shorted something. He shorted something out. I don't know what he shorted out, but something must have shorted out. So that's why I kind of went that way. And again, this is not something that I just decided. Oh, let's just throw a computer at it.
We're already about a week.
No, this is several days in, and I'm like, well, this is the best solution that I can come.
No, we're already about a week deep.
The wiring seems all right. The connections seem all right.
We did pin drag tests,
Pin
continuity
drag, I
tests.
felt the pin drag test was all right. I felt. But anyways, we got one from the junkyard. Had to pay for the programming. I don't do most of my programming. I don't do myself. But anyway, I did the programming. I used a lot of Rap 2. Had to pay for the program. For the keys to get reprogrammed, you need a minimum of 2 keys for GM now, 16 and up. Okay.
See what he said here.
Are the new GMs across 6 of them?
I think they are 120.
It's 120 when you split the circuit. When you join the circuit, it drops down to 160.
No, 60.
60, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was
60.
That was a good one.
So yeah, it's still the same. 120 with it. Each resistor is 120. When you combine the two, is 60 ohms, and that's exactly what I was getting. So nothing jumping out at me there.
Yeah, I mean,
but I put the computer, had to program it, had to get an extra key because the customer only had one key. One key. I had to get an extra key. The key was $100 and something, just the key. I had to program it, do all this
He wasn't even cut, by the way.
And that wasn't the issue. I was so frustrated. I was like, oh my God, this thing is going to have to go somewhere because I'm about to blow it up. But anyways, I decided to double check my work, pull the connectors off the ECM again.
20 of the out game.
And tighten the pins.
The new GMs are 120.
120 of the gateway amount. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, yes, it's 120. But when the circuit is intact, it should be 60.
To be fair, we also don't work on new GMs right out the box.
Yeah, we don't. We really don't.
So
technically, if it wasn't for the mileage, this car only had 80-something thousand miles. If it wasn't for that,
probably be at the dealer.
it'd still be under warranty, honestly. But it is what it is. So, that's the best I can say. Anyways, I tightened the pins, powers and grounds, which I had already checked, mind you, and load tested. I load tested them.
We put about 5 volts across.
After I tightened those pins, the problem seemed to have magically disappeared. So
allegedly,
up to this point, I haven't heard back from the customer, so I'm gonna say it's fixed for right now. But those are the things that frustrate me, man. It's like programming keys is a mission. Programming modules is a mission. Everything is becoming a mission. A general automotive technician can't keep up with all this stuff.
How did you do a used ECM? We just got one from LKQ and Rev2 reprogrammed
No,
it.
yeah, and it worked perfectly fine. It is working fine till right now. So yeah, we used the ECM from a salvage yard and reprogrammed it. We're able to do it remotely. Reprogrammed it and it worked fine. So take that for what it's worth.
I see that as a win.
That's another thing that scares me about programming is like I hear all these horror stories of breaking modules and breaking modules and this and that and NASTF. Good point, Phil. I'm glad you brought that up. That's another mission. That's another frustration that I had with a oh, thank you, dear. Thank you. We got some grub that just arrived. Better late than never, I guess.
Right.
But anyways, 2019 Ford Transit Connect. Changed the PCM.
Who's
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. That was another ordeal. The
Right.
PCM replaced it. I
Oh.
called to get a program. Did you get pre-approval from this place, NASDAQ, this, that, the third? Like, what the heck are you talking about? I didn't even know what was going on at this time. Honestly, I had no idea what was going on at this time. So I had to sign up for NASDAQ. I had to uh, send them a copy of my business stuff, personal stuff, all type of stuff, just to get hooked up with this so they can program a module.
Which really shouldn't
So
have
they
been
can
alright.
program a module. Come on, man. Bill H, I had to get an LLC, an insurance policy. I was just a mechanic in Ohio. Didn't even have a business, but I had to get all the license for NASDAQ.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's something new. That's something unbeknownst to me. I just recently
Which
found that out a few months ago.
all that's for what?
And
Anti-theft or whatever?
yeah, it's
And they'll still steal the cars.
and they're still stealing cars. They're still stealing cars.
What was it that the Kias were having? That they literally would hotwire the Kias?
Come on, man. Why? You know, they're still stealing cars.
And they won't stop stealing cars.
They're gonna figure out another way. And those who get caught stealing cars, I hope that they just throw the book at them. I really do. I do not tolerate thieveries of any kind. None whatsoever.
Some of us work for a living.
Yeah, if I gotta work for a living, you gotta work for a living too. That's the way I see it. Yeah, no, you gotta earn your own. But anyways, it's
And it's
just,
not only that you gotta earn your own, but then you're also taking someone else's hard-earned junk.
bro. That's enough to get shot. I I I, I promise you, that's enough to get shot. I disagree with Keith from L1 Automotive. He's a board member of NASDAQ. I just want to do my job.
Here's my question: what did Keith say?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I
I
don't
mean,
know what
I
did
know
Keith.
who's he's talking about.
Oh, I don't.
He's got a YouTube channel and everything.
What did he say specifically?
L1 Automotive, very very influential guy.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. He's I watch his stuff.
Really? Never
Yeah.
heard of him.
Very knowledgeable and everything, but
Never heard.
I didn't know if he was a member or whatnot. But
He's a board member, apparently.
yeah, according to this comment here.
I didn't know that. I don't even know who the
But
guy is.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I want to do my job. He says all the good about NASDAQ. He's probably a paid advocate or something.
Good for him.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. If he's getting paid, I guess you got to get paid somehow.
Hey, good for him, right? But
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I don't know. I don't even know who the guy is.
I just kind of miss the good old days that you can do a lot of things without going through all the rigmarole. I understand something behind it. You know, obviously, when I want to protect our vehicles, I want to make sure they don't get stolen or things of that nature. But
People are still stealing.
they're still stealing them.
Now, what is it with those remote start that they just walk by you and they could clone your key with that thing?
Yeah, I saw that in the news too. I saw that in the news that that these yahoos were going close to Global Commerce is the beast. Is a beast at programming. Check them out.
Right.
Global Commerce. Okay, I'll check them out. Are they a YouTube or website or something like that? Can you
Elaborate further.
yeah? Can you inform us in this? And don't mind if I have a fry because he's right in front of me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they go. They walk right next to you, and they're just.
Yeah, they were going to people's houses with these Mercedes and fancy. These are high-end cars with the same tools that we use. going by, getting the signal from the key, the transponder. I guess cloning that signal.
It's I guess the best way I can describe it is like those universal remotes. It's the
Mhm.
same thing. It'll clone the immobilizer transponder.
They would literally jump in the car, start it like they had the key, and just drive off in it. Just drive off with the. Just drive off with it like they had the key. But you're over here busting my chops because I'm trying to program a module. I got to go through all this mumbo jumbo.
Programming a module legally, by the way.
We got to go through all this rigmarole. I don't know. Whatever. Again, that's a frustration.
And the thing is, no matter how smart these scientists are gonna get, no matter how much these tech guys sitting in the lab thinking, yeah, got him this time, they're just gonna find a way to do it again.
Global Commerce is YouTube and has a strong
store.
It's a store. I'm sorry, and sells stuff. GM hates him. He told us that because he keeps cracking their programming. That that proves what I just said. You know, where there's a will, there's a way, and they keep doing it. That proves it right there. But I'm gonna check them out. I'm gonna check. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Sounds
We learn something new every day.
sounds like a smart guy if he can keep cracking GM's
Yeah, if he keeps cracking it,
to the point that GM doesn't
he's
like
on
him.
that level. He's on that level. If he keeps cracking the code, he's on that level. I'm gonna check him out for sure. Another thing is all this emission stuff.
Oh man, did you see that big scandal when we did the first day of high voltage? We're sitting there doing a PowerPoint. Hated it, but with that emissions, I think it was Volkswagen or something. They're like they had claimed that they had made the most efficient diesel. Right? You put it on a dyno, wheels will spin, right? And this became a whole thing, and a bunch of companies were fought and were found doing it, and it was a big scandal. They had to pay out a ridiculous amount of money. They would when they would dyno them for emissions testing, the programming, the car could tell if it was being driven on a dyno or on the street due to steering wheel rotation, doing I think a steering position sensor.
What car was it?
This was a Volkswagen did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Bro, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
And then I think it was what MIT or something that put a stop to that.
Yeah. They got caught and they got busted for that.
And a ton of car companies did. I think they had to pay billions of dollars and
Donnie from Nastev wanted my life story about. Told the guy to calm it. Clam it. Calm it.
We got the point.
Yeah. Yeah, they literally ask for your life story. They really do. They really do.
I want to know about your parents.
Guys from Detroit, what are your thoughts on Mazda in terms of reliability and repair costs?
Talk about new Mazda.
I'm assuming newer Mazdas because I know when back in years ago, Mazdas sucked.
Yeah, the '90s was it? They were horrible to work on.
They
The
were
rotaries.
horrible. They were horrible.
The rotaries would drink oil the way they drink gasoline.
The new ones, I don't know a whole lot about the new ones.
I can talk about that.
Mazda was owned by Ford at one point.
Yes, they were.
Are they still owned? Didn't they not own? But
no, they're not. I can speak a little bit to Mazda now, considering that we're now partners with Mazda. So we got a ton of like brand new Mazda vehicles coming in from. Oh well, let's. All right, so let's switch. We got a bunch of brand new Mazda vehicles that corporate Mazda sent to us. Mazda engines, brand new Mazda engines, and they seem solid. They seem easy to work on, because I mean that's what we did all of our hands-on electrical training on. So these put issues into these brand new Mazdas, and we solved them from there. That and the Audis, and they seem like relatively easy to work on. The interiors are really nice. I mean, I got to drive them around the lot because we had to put gas in them and stuff. So we went to the bus stop, and they drive really nice, and nothing beats that new car smell. I'm saying brand new. We saw the Mazda guys drop them off there, and they seem relatively simple to work on. As far as maintenance costs, depends where you take them to. That's really all there is.
yeah, like I said, I really don't deal with a lot of Mazdas, to be honest with you. My sister just bought a Mazda, actually.
A Mazda 3, I think.
It rides pretty nice. It's got some power behind it. Reliability,
We'll only know 5 years.
that's a different kind of worms right there. Everything new, the reliability has tanked. Another one of my frustrations. You
Let's see
guys,
what we got here.
you guys done opened up a can of worms now.
About out of the automotive industry, been in since '96. About to finish my working days, CDL or something. Hey, more power to you.
You know what? That's the problem with the industry. A lot of us older, techs have been around for a while, experienced, seasoned, as it were. We're starting to leave. I got my days where I'm fed up. I mean, I'm fed up. I'm like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Parts quality is down the
Non-existent.
crapper. Again, another one of my frustrations. Keep that one in mind. Uh, the technology is great, but it's when you put too much crap in cars, reliability, that's a proven fact. I don't care who you are, that's a proven fact.
I think that's the like a law of engineering. Is the more moving parts it is, the more.
The less reliable it
Yeah.
is. I'm telling you, it is what it is. So
Let's see what we got here. Carbine, I hate. You
the
have.
car brand I hate to work is on Nissan. Service information. I worked for Nissan, as a matter of fact. I used to be a Nissan tech back in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, right.
And then I came back in 2013, and it sucked. I used to make money back in the mid 2000s in Nissan, actually, in my particular dealer. Um, but not so much now. Dealers is more of warranty work and stuff like that.
Which, if all you want to do is just see the same thing every day and get good at it, like more power to you.
That's what makes a technician. And again, technician. There's very talented technicians out there. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. There's talented technicians out there. But when you see the same crap every day, in and out, it gets repetitive.
It's
So
like-
you get good at it. I got friends that are good at what they do.
Oh, wow.
Take them out of their line, and they're lost. They're lost. Take them out of their line, they're lost.
Yeah, right. Guys have been in their respective brands for a minute, and I mean, you take them out, and what are you really gonna do? So you get from
Zoom Zoom kids, kid from Mazda probably in prison, but Zoom Zoom kids, Zoom Zoom kid. Elaborate on that. That rings a bell a little bit, but wasn't that like a commercial or something? Zoom Zoom Zoom, something like that. Elaborate on that just in case that's what it is.
flat rate pay is screw you is good for parts hanger, but die guys gets for that's what I did.
You know, Phil, that's another one there. Again, flat rate is really not. It doesn't have to be bad. I operate on flat rate. I pay myself flat rate. You know where it becomes a problem, in my opinion?
Let's use the Malibu as an example.
Troubleshooting. Flat rate for troubleshooting is forget about it. It's a fugazi. It doesn't work. Because you're rushing. You're not getting paid. You're not getting paid.
Mazda commercial.
Yeah, I figured. I figured that's what you were talking about. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Imagine working at Toyota, all this tons of motors, 13 hours of flat rate.
Yeah, but again, after you do it so many times, you get good at it. You get a rhythm, you get a flow, and you can knock it out of the park. I'm not saying you can still do it, but I don't know. I haven't done that job, so I don't know. Honestly, I don't.
13-hour flat rate is wild.
But you might be able to find shortcuts. I used to be in the dealer. I know you find shortcuts, you make it happen, you make it work. You get to cut the time. That's what makes you good. You do it over and over. That's why the dealer tech gets away with a lot of these things. Now, if you give me one of those, I'll be like, what? I gotta take the cab off. I gotta do this. What? You crazy? I'm not doing all that. Forget about it. No,
No,
take that to someone else.
that's for the birds. How do you feel about manual transmissions going extinct? They're way more reliable. I think it's just laziness of people who wants to really drive a manual, bro, when you can have.
Yeah, they're reliable. You know,
They'll
100%.
last.
In this country, though,
No.
in this country,
Imagine having to drive a manual in New York.
yeah, that sucks.
You can't.
In traffic, it sucks. So your foot is gonna be wore out. You're gonna be, I'm tired. Your calves are gonna be like this big. But in third world countries, that's what they use, manual. Yeah, manual. A lot of my customers that come from, Cuba and South America and stuff like that, they're still used to putting the handbrake every time they park their car. The first thing they reach for is the handbrake, the park brake, because that's what they drive. They drive manual. They don't break down. They wear out a clutch every now and then, but
But I mean, especially if those are like flat. What is that? Flat cut gears or whatever. Literally that shit.
those things they run forever.
It's a solid chunk of metal.
An automatic transmission, you just run out of fluid. That's
That's
it.
it. You're done.
You fry it. So, yeah, manual transmissions are more reliable. They do last longer. Again, less electrical stuff going in there that can go bad.
You feel pretty cool shifting your own gears.
Yeah. But comfort here is king, so people
Right.
rather drive automatic. You don't have to think about it, especially in high dense traffic areas such as South Florida.
Right. Your stuff 80% die, 20. I went from
Would not survive. Hey, Ivan knows his stuff. Ivan knows his stuff. I watch him a lot. Ivan knows his stuff. Um, but yeah, a diag. That's where flat rate would just open a can of whip and tear you up, because there's no way that you can diag a car in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. uh, Something simple, yeah. Oh, a fuse was blown. Oh, yeah. What does that sound? Oh, that sounds like a this, that. Yeah, that's great. But problems like this, like what we had, no way. There's no way you can troubleshoot that in 30 minutes. No way possible. I don't know how else I could say that. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point. Phil. There's no way. You can't do it. It can't be done. Uh, there's a hybrid system that I like when it comes to flat rate and hourly. And I work for a shop, independent shop. It was a fleet uh, service shop, and he had a hybrid way of dealing with it, and I actually kind of liked it. It was he guaranteed X amount a week. He gave you an hourly flat rate, you know, what you make an hour flat rate, and he would guarantee X amount a week. If you would flag enough hours to surpass that minimum, he'll pay you whatever was graded. We can kind of work with something like that, in my opinion. I've never seen that before. It's not something they talk about a lot about, but I kind of like that system. Is a hybrid. It's the best of both worlds. At least you're guaranteed something. But if you get a lot of gravy work and stuff that you can, boom, 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 flag a lot of hours, you can still get the benefits of flat rate. So, because there are benefits to flat rate, there really is. I sold my 2000 town car, 380,000 miles when I got to Florida. I feel like I downgraded when I bought a Fusion.
380,000 miles is wild.
What year was a Fusion? I'm sure it's a newer one. I just had a fusion here the other day.
Oh, with that leaking, with the water leaking into the.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
the head, they have some engine problems, a defect with those motors. They'll start consuming water. They'll start consuming water, and Ford's repair for that is long block.
The whole long block?
The long block.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Transmission and all?
No, not the transmission.
Okay,
I'm talking about the engine.
Oh,
Long block and heads, So
yeah.
Sean Moran, manual transmission, also known as anti-theft system, here in South Cal. I'm assuming South California.
Yeah, that's just so cool.
Okay. So how is that? Well, I guess because people don't know how to drive them. I'm assuming. Clarify on that, but I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
You know who said the same thing? Hernandez.
Oh yeah.
The other day when we were helping out, whatever. He left his keys in the ignition and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh man, where are my keys? Oh, they're in the ignition. Ain't nobody gonna steal this thing. Nobody knows how to drive this."
I'm assuming that's what Sean is talking about.
I'm like, wow.
Got to go hit the drive-through, get some booze, and crash. Bill, thank you for joining us. I got a little bit of booze right here. The wife got us some drive, so we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat. Thank you so much, Phil. Thanks for joining us. I really do appreciate everything that every time you join us with these events. Thank you
Always
so
great
much.
to have you there.
But I think Ivan is borderline genius, though. I agree. That guy, he's good. Credit is giving where credit is due. 2016. Yeah, it was the same.
Oh boy.
Hers was a 2015, I think. It might have been a 16 Fusion. Yeah. Look up bulletins. You'll find it. Look up bulletins on that car.
A 1.6 turbo. I think it was the same car too. I think she has a 1.6 turbo too.
That I don't remember.
I think hers is a turbo.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was.
What was another Ford that was giving some turbo issue? Was it?
I think hers was a 2.0. Or, I don't know.
I don't know.
I got my wires crossed, but you know. Phil, thanks for joining us. I really do appreciate it. But
Hey, there's a question here. What's the question?
has people been cheap for you with tariffs going? You know what? My customers, I'm gonna go ahead and say 99. All right, let's not go 99. Let's say high 90% of my customers, they're all word of mouth. I don't put an ad for nothing. I want to avoid all the riffraff. That's how I operate. I make a living out of word of mouth. I do not put an ad nowhere. That seems to cut all the riffraff. And normally when I give a price, nobody argues with it. Really. Very few. And normally they're first time customers. They don't know how I operate. Because people are used to shops and anything really. I'm not talking about just automotive. Anything. You go get a roof done. You go get a plumbing. You go get a electrical. Anything that you get done, people are used to jacking up the price so that when they negotiate and the customer comes with crocodile tears talking about, I just had to. All right, we'll do it for X amount, and they're gonna get what they want anyways. I don't do that. My price is my price. I don't feel I should have to do that. I just feel that for me, this is just me personally. If you do it, that's fine. I understand why you do it. If I give you a price, that's what I have set to make a living. I'm not inflating the price to get what I want at the end of the day. No, my price is my price and that's it. So most of my customers are already used to that. They're not going to argue that. You can go to the dealer if you want and pay double, triple. You can go down the road and pay double, whatever they're charging. This price is this price. That's it. If I deduct it, it's going to be like $20 or $30. That's it. You're not going to get a deal. You're not going to have a campfire kumbaya story how you ripped off the mechanic because he wanted X amount of dollars, and with me, that's not gonna work. I'm sorry. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. Go down the road and let them deal, and then deal with those people that don't know what they're doing. So, luckily for me, I haven't had too much of that problem, but it is a problem because everything is increasing. Parts are getting more expensive. Everything is getting more expensive. Prices are going up. Another frustration, but I think that's a frustration of life in general. That's a life in general frustration. Everything is getting expensive.
When's the last time you did a clutch job? About a year ago.
Oh boy, Sean, it's been a minute.
It
It's
was
been a minute.
it
It
was
was
that.
a Ranger, a
Yep.
Ford Ranger, 2002, 2003 Ford Ranger. It's been at least two
About
or
2
three
years.
years.
I think that video is still up.
And there's certain jobs that I don't want to get into. Dropping engines and transmissions is one of them.
Yes, no point.
I really don't do it. Not that I don't know how to do it. It's just I don't feel comfortable with my setup, and I can get more money or the same money doing simpler gravy work. That's why I don't do it. But I did it because it was a little small Ranger, and
I
it
think
was
the transmission bolted on with literally like three 18
yeah. I
millimeter
just
bolts.
dropped it, and that was the last clutch job I did. It's been a few years. Phil, going back to you.
Okay. Oops, there we go. There we go.
I worked for myself in Ohio. I was a mobile programmer. Only worked with shop, not individuals.
Oh, that's
So how fast does word of mouth spread? I'm currently unemployed. Word of mouth, it takes a while, I'm not gonna lie. It took me a few years to get to where I'm at. But if you have the right reputation, if you get the reputation is key. That's the bread and butter. Um, uh, how the scriptures go that a good name is more desirable than gold and silver. I'm paraphrasing, but that is true. When people know that you're honest and what you say, it's like me. If I tell you a piss ant can pull a buggy, hook them up because I don't play. Hook them up. A little ant can pull that car. Hook them up. And when people understand that that's the reputation you have, they'll keep coming back to you. I promise. It's just gonna take a little longer, just by word of mouth. If you don't put yourself out there, it's gonna take longer. That I will say. But the quality of customers you're gonna have is gonna be far better because you're gonna avoid a lot of the risk.
So Facebook, how long did it take to get your first customer? Oh,
No, I don't advertise nowhere. Nowhere. I don't. I started with one customer. One.
what was that?
One. Obviously, I had another form of employment, so I had income. I worked for Crown Lift Trucks for about 7 or 8 years when I moved down to back down to South Florida. But I started with one. The one became two. The two became four. The four became five, and so forth and so forth. It started growing. It started growing and growing and growing. But I started with one. No ad was ever placed. Nowhere. Nowhere.
And we don't even use the YouTube to advertise. That's more
No,
for
I don't. Yeah, that's all. I don't even advertise on YouTube. Do I get messages and people, hey, I got the same problem? Yeah, all the time. But I really don't use the YouTube platform to advertise myself. I just like to share and I like to engage with you guys. And well, engaging with you guys, this form, the live stream, that's something new that I'm doing more and more. I've got several live repairs, and I keep that kind of simple because I don't want to drag something out for like 3, 4, 5, 10 hours. Who's got time for all that? But I just like to engage, like kind of like what we're doing now, on the moment type of thing. So yeah, I don't advertise.
Goes out. Peace out, Phil. All
Peace out, my brother.
right.
Thanks for
Thanks for
supporting.
joining. Yeah, it was great. Excellent questions.
And for those of you that are new to the channel, if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe and hit the notification so you get notification when we do events like this. What do you think about the ASC, what ASC is charging for tests and registration? Just let one lapse after years. of playing their game. Okay. ASC, I got mine right here.
I think I can answer this one because I'm getting.
I paid for this. This is not something I bought off eBay or no. I paid and earned this.
I think I can answer this
Go,
question
go.
because I'm taking mine now. I'm
Go.
in the stage of getting. I just took my
Go.
my A6 and I just got my.
I'll let you handle it.
It's honestly
Well,
really.
I'm gonna let you go and then I'm.
It's honestly really. It's. I mean, it's like with anything. How much you take to. How much you know. You can be the greatest tech in the world and not have any ACs, and people might look at you funny. It's really just about you're just paying for your image and just paying to let the customer feel better about what you do. Like when I took my IDAs, those were expensive. Those were I think for all 10 over the course of how long I took them because I took them over a course of a few months. It was like almost $400 for all 10 of them. They were ridiculously expensive. ASCs are $93 now. I think is what I paid when I took my A6. It's 30 something for registration fees just to let you be there. It's another 50 for the test, and then they tax you on top of that. So every time, which I gotta go take one at the end of this month, every time it's $90 for one of them, just to say that you sat down or you know what you're talking about. And they could probably be a little cheaper because a lot of the establishments that they do are already there for testing. So they probably could be $50. It's just a test that they write, and it's the same test every time.
It's money.
It's
they
money.
make they make money off. But it's a level of certification to show that you at least know what you're talking about. Like I said, I earned this. I took the test. I earned it. It's not something I bought off of eBay or the black market or none of that. You know.
That's sir over there.
I think that does ASC make you a better tech? Not necessarily. No,
We were just talking about this the other day.
it doesn't. I've known people that don't have one, and they know how to fix some stuff. They fix some stuff, and I know some that are master that they can't turn a bolt to save their lives. It's just, and that's true with everything. Just because you have an associate degree, a bachelor's degree, a doctorate degree, doesn't mean you're that smart.
Just means you know how to read.
It just shows that you've learned how to, whatever. Pass tests and stuff.
I think that what the ASC is really just it's all a theory test.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
if you can read a book and memorize the theory, then you're solid.
Hands on is where the money is. Hands on.
Unless you're an instructor.
So I'm not opposed to ASC testing. I think it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
And for us, it's required.
But it's not the holy grail. It's not the no, none of that.
Well,
but
your instructor says otherwise.
Because it's the way the world views you. If you go to a shop for a job interview and you got 8, 10 ASCs and you got this dude that doesn't have one, who do you think they're gonna go for? Oh, this guy has.
Yeah.
Un caballo.
He got rank.
He's got rank, But how do they perform? They may be great. Yeah, great. But what if they're not? So what good is this? Nothing. It's meaningless. If you don't know how to fix cars, it's meaningless. So,
I mean, I was talking with one of my classmates, I was talking with Ben, and he accidentally scheduled his A6. He went to take his G1, and he realized that he bought both of them by accident. And he said that he spent a week just hammering the green book, and he passed it. Spent a week reading up on the electrical, or taking the practice tests, and just reading diagrams, and he passed his A6.
Yeah.
You can really.
That's the first one I passed, the A6.
That's the first
electrical.
one I passed.
It always came natural to me, but some people don't. Doesn't mean that they're any less than anybody else, but it's getting expensive. It's becoming a business. I guess that answers your question.
How do you feel about book times? Cars have been through Michigan winters are the same. We call that rust tax.
Yeah, book times. Book times are funny. Book times are funny, and for those of you that are listening that don't know what we're talking about when book time is pretty much a manual. You got Mitchell, you got what is it, Chilton or whatever,
All data.
all data. It gives us an idea of the average times to complete a job. Example given: a brake job may pay hour and a half, so that's the average time. Hour and a half. You can knock it out in one. You're still gonna get charged hour and a half. Now you could do it in 2, 3 hours and still get charged hour and a half. Skill has a lot to play with that. Sometimes the book times are wrong. I have seen where a book time charges a exuberant amount of time for a job that I know it doesn't take that. I mean, even a challenged individual could do
Oh,
this.
what?
A challenged individual. I don't want to say anything that insulting to anybody. I'm just a challenge. Has some kind of challenge individual. Uh,
Oh, that is funny.
uh, can do it the book charges 5 hours. Anybody can do it in hour and a half or 2 hours.
Right.
Why? I don't know. I really don't know, but that's what the book time is. So you could play with that. You can play that. That's not concrete.
Yeah.
And even everybody will tell you that you don't have to go by the book. Example, if the job is an hour and a half and you live in the Rust Belt, you know you're going to run into some problems.
The Rust Belt is crazy.
You know you're going to run into some, especially if you're working on exhaust, brakes, anything that corrosive substance from wherever it comes from that was created, you know, touches is gonna get rusted, and you're gonna have
Plus the salt.
issues.
Plus the salt.
That's what I was talking about. The salt, that white powdery substance, and I'm not talking about the other stuff. That's
With the seasoning touches.
that's something else. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the salt. Yeah, it's
There's
gonna
salt.
rust some stuff out, and you're gonna have trouble. You don't have to go by the book because you know you're gonna run into problems.
I mean,
The
honestly,
book doesn't count for all that. It doesn't. So
like,
it's unfair that somebody says, "Oh, the book says an hour to do this, and you're charging 3." Yeah, but look at your car's all rusted out. I know I'm gonna have to whip out the torches and all that stuff.
can't be stuck if it's melted.
No.
So,
So
let's see what we got going on here.
Just Locked In was running later.
Hey,
DJ Automotive.
thanks for being here.
Thank you for joining us, DJ
All right, he has a question.
Automotive. How much do you all invest in training?
Oh boy.
My boy here is going through his his divergenizing stage of
Oh great.
automotive training, so that's gonna cost several pretty bit. But me in general, I paid for ABI, you know over $1,000 a year, and that's other training sessions and stuff. It can get very expensive real quick. Training it now. There's a lot of free stuff out there. YouTube, I call YouTube the university of YouTube because you can learn all type of stuff there.
Chris Fix.
Chris Fix, yeah,
Love that
he's
guy.
got Paul Danner. I actually met him in person one time.
Yeah, real cool guy.
Paul Danner,
Real nice. Oz. Met Ozzy. Mario.
Oz, Super Mario Diagnostic. I mean, Pine Hollow.
I don't know that.
There's a lot of free stuff out there, but
Chris Fix.
if you actually set up to pay for training,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
right.
it's gonna set you up. It's gonna set you up.
A little bit.
It's gonna set you back a little bit.
Yeah.
Good question, DJ Automotive.
Yeah, and
Thank you for joining, by the way.
honestly, it can get really expensive really quick. Like, I know us, Solis, hates UTI.
Really?
UTI is ridiculously expensive
Yeah.
and ridiculously. You wanted to send me to UTI. It's ridiculously
Me?
expensive. Yeah, I think we were talking about UTI at one point, and we're talking right, and when you hear Solis talks to, the managers and shop foremen, and everyone, and the guys that are coming out of UTI aren't coming out of UTI with anything really, certifications of any kind. They're just kind of there chilling. And UTI is really expensive, so I don't think it's how much you pay for training. It's just all the quality of training.
Yeah.
Because what good is spending? Oh yeah, I have a $100,000 education, and the guy with a $10,000 education has more certifications than you and knows what he's doing more than you do. So I don't think that it's really about how much you invest, but how much the investment pays back.
Yeah. Certifications are important. They are. I'm sad to say, but it is. But it's not the holy grail. Like I said, it just because you're not certified doesn't make you any less knowledgeable. It just means you haven't gone and taken a test. And that's one of my pet peeves. Like I said, I earned mine. I did. I paid for them. I studied for them. I took them and I passed them, and and it is.
If you're new to oscilloscopes, which one do you recommend? You know what? I use this one, so this has this one that you can hook up to the computer. It's like it'll run you about maybe I think it's $200. But it works just as well as
Yeah,
the auto one will work. It'll tell you the same things and it's just as customizable.
I'm pretty much gonna say what everybody else says. Um, a scope is better than no scope. So if you're starting out, and again, I don't know what your skill level, I don't know if you've used them before. There's a little learning curve, but it's just like hooking up a regular voltmeter, you know, power and ground. That's it. There's just some settings, time base and amplitude and stuff. Those are the things you got to get used to, because you don't think about that with a fluke scope that you a fluke multimeter that you use. But
Yeah.
any scope right now, if you don't have one, is better than what you have, which is nothing.
I mean, you can spend $4,000 on an all scope or like 200 on an Amazon one, and if you don't know how to use either, what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? But I started off with the what was it? The Autel SP400 or something like that. I forgot the model.
What's that one?
It was like a $200 scope, and it hooked up um to my Autel 906 BT, and I still have that scan tool till this day. I've had it for quite a few years.
Thinks a scope.
No, but you can add a scope to it, and I bought it. Now I have the Alta Ultra that has a built-in scope into the VCM, and that's what I use. But right now, you just want to get your feet wet if you don't have one, and
You can really just go on. You can really just go on Amazon and get one of those $200 scopes that'll connect to your computer, and it works. Because that was a point that my automotive instructor made it. Like, just get something so that you can compare to whatever is in the book or whatnot.
right.
So
House of Detroit, gonna call it a night. Love the format. Keep up the fine work, fellas. Thank you
for
so
being here.
much. Haas, please like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. I appreciate your support. But back to DJ Automotive. Which one do I recommend? Well, do you have a scan tool? I don't know. Do you have a scan tool? And if so, which one do you have? Because most scan tools offer some kind of, not all of them, but most offer some kind of scope attachment to it. Pico is like the Mercedes of scopes, from what I understand, and I don't own one. I don't have one.
Man, weren't they talking about those when we went to the Top Gun guy? When we went to that training seminar for scope, I think was it that Mario threw?
Mm-hmm.
I think he was talking about that. They're like supposed to be ridiculously good.
Not sure.
I've never used. You don't remember them talking about it? I remember they
The
talked.
Pico?
Yeah, I remember they talked wonders about that thing. Like, oh my god, they're gushing.
Well, no, everybody always talks about the Pico because
I've never used one. I don't think I've ever seen.
it's Pico scope. You know, it's the cream of the crop. Allegedly.
Allegedly. I've never used
Are
one.
there other good scopes out there?
Oh yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, absolutely. And I'm not a scope guru by any means, but have I used them? Yes. Do I currently own one? Yes. Um, I own like I said, the Alta Ultra. Again, you know, that's just what I own.
Yeah, you can't really say anything you don't have personal experience with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just see, we talked quite a few things here tonight, and we got some stuff out of our chest.
Group therapy, group therapy.
Some group therapy. If there's any more questions out there, you know, just
I mean,
type it in there.
we've been here for about an hour.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff. We've had good what's the word I'm looking for?
Conversation.
Yeah, good
matters.
good in no interactions, I guess. I don't know. That's not the word I was looking for.
Yeah, but this is what we do in the community. We talk about these things, you know,
Yeah, honestly.
because there's frustration. What frustrates me may not be the same thing that frustrates you. So.
Right? Like German cars frustrate you.
Yeah, I don't even fool with German cars. I don't fool with European cars. Period. Somebody calls me, I got a Volkswagen. I got a this. I don't know. I don't touch them. I'm sorry. Send them down the road. I don't do it. I don't do it.
Which is so funny because I go to school with the Audi program, and you don't like those things. But
Yeah, this is gonna be my he's gonna be my Euro guy. Yeah, no, take that to my son. He's gonna deal with that.
okay.
I don't deal with it with European cars. I'm sorry.
How do you charge for
How
that?
do you charge for diagnostic? Definitely will log in earlier next time.
Awesome.
DJ Automotive, I appreciate it. That varies. How do I do it? Obviously, we gotta start somewhere, so you start with a basic fee, and that varies. You know, start off with an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours,
I mean,
whatever rate you charge.
we have diag levels, right?
Yeah, depending on what the complaint is, you kind of have an idea of what maybe. For example, they tell you, "Hey, I got a noise, you know, a clunking noise." Should you charge diagnostic fee for a clunking noise? In my book, yes, because you'll be surprised at how much time you spent chasing that clunking, trying to find that noise.
What was it? It was a Ford Escape or something. That it was a clinking noise every time I go. It was a boom, boom, and we just couldn't find it. We spent like 2 hours driving the car. We changed the motor mounts because it needed motor mounts and ended up being motor mounts.
Yeah, it was motor mount. It was a funny noise, and it ended up being motor mount.
Which I said, but you didn't.
But noises and vibrations are like one of the worst. It's like, man, you could drive this thing for hours and still not know what the heck you're looking at. Electrical is another one. That's bad. Trust me, we've been talking about it all night. That Malibu, it is haunted. It's been haunting my dreams.
Oh,
What are those? Just weird complaints that you're like, oh, something intermittent problems.
oh yeah.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
What was that really weird intermittent problem? Oh, those GMCs,
Yeah,
Chevys, just couldn't figure it out. It would only do it certain times, at
certain
spots.
temperature, certain, you know, it just. So you got to kind of calculate and say, the best thing I can advise is get a do not exceed amount. I've done that a few times. Listen, based on what you're describing, based on what you're saying, I really don't know, but let's start somewhere. It's going to be at least $200 to look at this. It's going to be at least $300. It's going to be at least $500. Doesn't mean it's going to take that much, Doesn't mean that we're gonna spend $500, but at least that gives me some leadway of what I can and cannot do, because this problem is not normal. This is not something that I could just look at and tell you, oh, it's gonna be here. It's gonna take time for me to figure this out. And again, every problem is unique and different at the same time. So you got to kind of calculate for that a little bit. Though that's the hardest conversations that I have with customers, is because people want to know how much things are going to cost. They're going to want to know, hey, I got this noise, or I got this electrical thing. How much is it going to be fixed? I don't know. I don't even know what's wrong with it. I need to figure that out, and I don't know how long that's going to take. That's a very difficult conversation to have. What do a lot of shops say? And we've been shooting ourselves in the foot on this one. We've been shooting ourselves in the foot, saying, if you do the work with us, we're not going to charge you troubleshooting fee. There's a lot of shops that still do that to this day, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot because people get used to that. So when you come and say, hey, I don't know, this the troubleshooting fee is gonna be $100 an hour, whatever. I'm gonna start 2 hours, blah blah blah. When you do that, they don't like that. No, because the shop down the road, he says no. Okay, what if I fix the problem? I'm like, how can you possibly expect me to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 hours troubleshooting, troubleshooting, troubleshooting this problem, just for me to figure out is a blown fuse, or a broken wire, and it takes me 5 minutes to fix a wire? How can I charge you 5 minutes when it took me 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to figure this out? That's unreasonable. How about you go work a whole day for free? How do you like them apples?
Yeah, honestly.
That's basically what you're asking me to do. So, but that's a difficult conversation to have. Just have it up front, and see what the dealio is. You got to charge your troubleshooting. Definitely, hands down. I'm a big believer. Charge diagnostics. That's now one thing. If it's a friend or a good customer, and you say, you know what, it was real quick. Don't worry about it. I got you. That's different. That's you personally, whatever.
Throw a dog a bone every now and
Yeah,
then.
you can throw a bone every now and then, but don't make it the exception, not the rule. I hope that answers the question.
What do you think about manufacturer maintenance charts? Well,
Maintenance charts. They're
manufacturer's maintenance charts. There's a difference.
that's I
It's a
think
tricky
that's another topic
frustration,
there.
right? Because
Manufacturer service charts. First of all, they're broken down into two categories. What how do they term it? Standard or regular service, and extreme or heavy duty or something like that. Anyways, if you actually read the fine print on what their extreme duty or whatever the higher thing is, you would find out that uh most most
regular and severe.
yes, thank you. Severe, severe and regular. Most of your driving habits fall under severe if you read it and actually analyze it. Most of it will always fall under severe. So they say, oh, change your oil every 10,000, change your filter every 15 or whatever. Blah 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 blah. Use your imagination. Um,
Severe.
you will find severe is stop and go driving. Exactly. That's a primary example. Anywhere in a major city, you're gonna run into that. Stop and go. That's stop and go. That right there is considered severe. So yeah, you're gonna have to go by that schedule. But what I don't like is
Oil, that transmission oil for life.
transmission oil for life, sealed transmission. 10,000, 15,000 mile oil change is 7,500 mile oil change.
which is
That's all a bunch of hogwash.
unheard of.
That's baloney. I'm gonna tell you right now, and look it up. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. Do your research. You're gonna find. You're gonna find that most of these service maintenance schedules are made by the manufacturer and not necessarily with your best interest in mind. They say when they say lifetime fluid, what does that really mean? What does that mean?
What is the lifetime of a car?
What is the lifetime of a car? The definition of a lifetime of a car to the manufacturer is 7 to 10 years, roughly, give or take. That's their definition. Your definition as a consumer may be as long as I can drive this bad boy. 20, 30 years. No.
Like imagine, getting one of those seal for life transmissions, one of those transmissions.
No, that doesn't work. So they want the cars to last at least 7 to 10 years. They want it to break down so you can go back to the dealer, say, "Oh, Mr. Ford, Mr. GM, Mr. Toyota," because they're all doing the same crap. I need a new car because this one bit the dust. This one blew an engine and it costs more to fix it than to just buy a new one. So I rather just buy a new one, give you a down payment. Mr. Toyota, Mr. GM, Mr. Ford is gonna say, "Yeah, right this way, Mr. Customer. I got all the colors of the rainbow. Which one do you want?" That's what they want. So don't don't trust the service maintenance schedule too much. You can do it sooner. You're not doing anything harm.
Trust me, you're not harming the
You're
engine.
not
Changing
harming
the oil.
anything.
That
Trust me.
I mean, we have a customer that he does 3,000-mile oil changes, and that's not doing anything.
No transmission fluid recommended. Exactly. Sean, that's exactly what I'm talking about. They may not even recommend that because they say it's fluid for life.
Allegedly.
And again, I don't know what vehicle you're talking in particular, but transmission fluid, and this was told to me by an engineer. I'm not gonna say names or companies or anything. Um, the sweet spot for those are gonna be anywhere from 30 to about 50, 60,000 miles pushing it, and depending on driving and depending of if you have a cooler or not. That 150, I'm looking at you, Ford. 150K, I'm looking at you, Ford. Hogwash. By the time you get to that fluid at that mileage, you're looking at some really, really, really
Nasty stuff.
nasty, messed up fluid. I promise you that. I promise you that.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff.
That's what you're gonna look at. So take that for what it's worth. Right? Take that for what it's worth. I just don't. Again, that's another one of my industry frustrating things is the service is not what it used to be. I remember having to do spark plugs every 30. I remember doing the coolant every 30. I remember doing the oil, the transmission oil, every 30. I remember all this stuff. And now it's changed. Now they don't want you to touch the fluid. Now they don't want spark plugs. Okay, I can live with that. Spark plugs, they got the uraniums and stuff like that. I can see that.
What is that?
But-
That iridium core stuff or whatever?
Yeah, but engine oil, 10,000 miles. Seriously, when they consume oil,
Yeah, that's another thing.
come on.
Apparently,
that's not
oil
normal.
consumption is normal.
Yeah, that's normal again. So, come on, who are you kidding?
Was it that told you that Ford? Yeah, though.
Yeah, Ford. No, that's normal. One quart every so often. 5,000 miles. When has oil consumption been normal? It has never been normal.
Apparently,
Ever.
it's normal now.
Ever. It has never been normal. Oil consumption has never been lower. I don't care what you say.
right? But no, apparently it is.
But now it is because
It's been
the
made normal.
engineering,
Yeah,
the engineering involved has now made it normal. But it's never been normal.
the tolerances are so tight now.
Tolerances, low tension piston rings.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
my friend, she has a Camry, brand new Camry. I think it takes literally it's running off of maple syrup. It's this real thin oil. What is that? A 0W16 or whatever?
Toyota now is using 08,
It's
0W8.
that is some of the thinnest motor oil I've ever seen in my life.
You might as well get Masola. You get that cooking grease,
No,
cooking
bro,
oil, and just pour it down the engine. You
you
know, might as well
probably
use
could.
that.
You probably could. It's crazy.
The GM recall. The GM recall said, "Oh, now we're gonna use 0W40." Oh, wait a minute, but your engineer said to use 0W20. Why now the change? Why now the change to? That tells you right now that come on, they're
It's always something.
is always
And
so
that's the frustration we're having.
that's a frustration.
It's always something.
It's always something, exactly. Well, guys, if there's any more questions, comments, concerns, we'll give it a couple minutes. We'll move on to the next one. If not, we'll call it a night. Again, if you're joining us for the first time, please subscribe and hit the notification so you'll know
When we decide to
when you'll get a new
brand,
rave up in here.
right?
So, any other questions?
Comments, concerns.
Give it a couple minutes.
That will give a minute or two.
Up here, still munching on my fries.
Probably cold, man.
They're cold. Yeah, they suck.
Oh, great.
Fries when they get cold, they're useless. But
You can always throw them in the air fryer.
yeah, the automotive industry is becoming I've become disillusioned with it. And I still love what I do, I like figuring things out, but it is becoming oh my gosh, so difficult. Why? Why so difficult?
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you.
for the sub.
We appreciate that.
Any other questions? Concerns?
Right? Anything that you guys want to know? Let's talk about that for a second. Air fryers.
Air fryers?
Oh yeah,
What do you mean air fryers?
air fryer. It's like a top 5 invention of all time.
The air fryer?
Oh yeah.
Come on, man. We were talking about cars, so you're talking about air fryer.
I don't know because I just thought about it like, oh yeah, you could throw those fries in the air fryer and it'll be great.
We're talking about industry frustrations. He's over here talking about air fryers.
fryers. What's a good brand to use for wheel hub assembly?
David
Besides
J.
OEM.
Lin. Wheel besides OEM. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Nice.
No. I'm not gonna say
Parts
that.
are so bad now.
No, you know what? I have never to this day I have never had an issue. And again, as we're speaking now. Now tomorrow I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna have an issue and
You're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it.
but I have never had an issue with aftermarket wheel bearings. And I've heard some stories, but I really personally I've never, AutoZone, whatever, I've mostly used AutoZone. Um
Except that
Duralast.
Except that one time that a wheel bearing came dented and
No, that's different. That
That's
was
shipping.
he's talking about the hub assemblies.
Oh, the whole. Oh,
Yeah, he's talking about
I
the
don't know.
hub assemblies.
I
I've
mean-
never had a bad.
We just did one on a Honda and it just boom boom. I don't know.
Yeah. Hub assemblies. I've never really had an issue with
Really don't. Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever.
aftermarket wise. So
Right,
and then you buy an OEM one is like $1 trillion.
right. And I think that's just the problem with OEM parts is just they're so expensive.
Yeah, aftermarket. They okay. I know there's a better quality and stuff, but I think they go a little overboard with their pricing sometimes.
Sometimes.
Who am I? I don't know. I have no idea. Thanks. No,
No
thank you,
problem.
David.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the question.
Please like and subscribe.
Yes, that'd be awesome. If you're content with,
We're
with
trying
what
to
doing here,
we're trying to make it to 10K here soon.
yes, we are.
We're on a mission.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Any other questions?
Comments, concerns.
Give it a second or two.
If anyone wants.
I think I'm gonna start eating a burger.
Right?
Oh snap! I will drop it.
Oh, you're gonna take out the pickles? Eat the pickles like a man.
Nah, not much of a pickle.
Come on, man. Pickles on burgers are great. I don't know what you're on about. I go out of my way to put extra pickles on my burger.
Yeah, I'm all right.
It's a very
Okay.
flat burger.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure.
Been here for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We got some really good interactions, some good comments, some good questions.
And
Thanks to all
I'm
of you
using a new
guys.
software, by the way.
So,
Um,
got your question,
that way you can have your little thing there.
right? You know, you see question.
You know,
or
that's
here.
something new for the channel, by the way.
Pretty cool question.
So I'm trying to get with the times. I'm trying to get with the times. So
Get with the program,
help me out, man. Subscribe.
right?
And hit the bell.
we're putting on a show here, guys. Come on.
I don't have nothing planned. I don't plan things. They just happen. So
This was a very spur of the moment thing.
yeah, it was.
I was approached.
Yeah, it was a spur of the moment. So we're gonna cut it out here. I want to wish everybody a good night. Thank you for joining.
What is that? Good night,
And,
morning, good evening. I'll see you when I see you. Is
Yeah,
that what
we'll
Truman
see you
said?
on the next one. And again, thank you so much for all your support.
You guys
We'll catch you on the next video. Ciao.